6:30 straight ahead, the scheduled execution of Julius Jones did not go through. The sentence he faces instead of the death penalty. And one woman was arrested for prostitution of a minor, how you can see the signs of sex trafficking and what you can do to help victims. Plus, Texas counties have 2 weeks to meet the new requirements of Senate Bill 476, how it will help the victims of sexual assault.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 AM.
Good morning, Texoma. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm Christy Waite. Let's go ahead and get a quick check of that forecast. Meteorologist Brian Briggs with us now. And Brian, it is so cold outside. Definitely want to bundle up the kiddos for the bus stop. We're seeing some places in Texoma dipping down into the 20s. So it's a very chilly start to our day.
Yeah, and some of us just colder than others. Nonetheless, though, we are all shivering it out this morning. Look at this. Colgate and Clayton, you folks are at 23 degrees. We have 20s, though, trying to creep their way south. And we've seen a couple upper 20s south of the Red River this morning, but virtually all of us are at least at or below freezing. Sherman-Denison, though, is interesting. We've been kind of bouncing around 38, 39 degrees. It's one of the warmer spots here, but nonetheless, most of us seeing freezing temperatures this morning, and it's been cold. So no matter where you're at, extra large coffee, tea, hot chocolate, anything like that needed. 2 reasons: cold temperatures, and it's Friday, so you might as well just treat yourself, right? So if you're taking the kids to the bus stop, make sure that they have the extra layers as we start the morning off. It's going to be cold. You may want to hold on to a couple of them as we go through the day. Today's temperatures stay on the cooler side, but we will see lots of sunshine. Now we have a couple of cold fronts to talk about, and one is shaping up for a Thanksgiving mess. We'll have all those details coming up, but back to you, Christy.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, yesterday, hundreds gathered at the Oklahoma State Capitol building in anticipation of Governor Kevin Stitt's decision on Julius Jones' execution. Jones received the death penalty for the 1999 murder of Paul Howell, though Jones has maintained his claim of innocence. Governor Stitt granted Jones' request for clemency just after noon, stopping his execution in less than 4 hours from when it was scheduled. The news turned protest into a celebration for Jones' supporters, and despite the mostly joyful response, some were not satisfied by the decision to keep Jones in jail.
That moment is a relief, but I believed in God. I believed he was going to do it, but I believe that the governor should have set him free, and we will continue to work to get Julius Jones free.
Jones will now serve life in prison with no chance of parole, according to a statement made by Governor Stitt. Also, Bree Featherston was appointed as the new U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Texas. He was appointed to the position by Attorney General Merrick Garland and took the oath of office on Wednesday. He is now the chief law enforcement official for 43 counties from the Oklahoma border all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Lawmakers, celebrities, and advocates gathered at the nation's capital to march for justice for Vanessa Guillen. Those gathered are pushing for the I Am Vanessa Guillen Act to pass at the federal level to improve how sexual violence incidents are addressed by military officials. Now, the legislation will allow victims to report incidents of sexual violence outside of their chain of command. If you remember, Guillen was killed back in April of 2020 in an armory room at Fort Hood in Texas. Specialist Aaron Robinson, who was accused of hammering and killing Guillen, shot and killed himself as police approached him. Lawmakers say change needs to be made into law on how military handles sexual violence. And police have arrested a woman for trafficking and prostitution of a minor. Our News 12's Lauren Rangel has more on what happened and how to recognize the warning signs.
This affidavit says the story starts over a year ago in the fall of 2020 when a Tulsa 15-year-old ran away, eventually ending up in a Sherman apartment where they were trafficked into prostitution.
Because we do know it is something that does happen. Even though people may not think it happens here in Sherman, Texas, it very easily can.
Early Sunday morning, Sherman police arrested Joylette Blanton for trafficking and prostitution of a minor. The warrant explains she took the 15-year-old to appointments at hotels and other places like her own apartment, and says she recruited female victims and negotiated prices for sex with customers on behalf of another man.
The reality is it's happening in most communities in some form or another. But one of the largest misconceptions is that most trafficking involves the movie Taken scenario. It's a kid who's taken, they're thrown into a van, they're moved across state lines. And that's just not always the case.
Abigail Hill with the Children's Advocacy Center adds that most cases in Grayson County are within families. According to the Office of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, there are 79,000 victims of youth and minor sex trafficking in Texas at any given time. Sherman police say step one to fighting it is acknowledging it.
Being aware of the danger and knowing that it can happen and it does exist is like the key to, the number one key to prevention.
Hill says to look out for warning signs like jumpiness in kids, shifts in personality, and the child always getting benefits like constantly having the latest technology.
Unfortunately, trafficking, like every form of abuse, doesn't have a perfect checklist. You need to ask yourself, should I report it? The answer is always yes.
If you think you are seeing signs of trafficking, Hill says the best thing you can do is make a report with either law enforcement or CPS with the number on your screen.
Story. Texas counties have less than 2 weeks left to get a sexual assault response team set up thanks to Senate Bill 476. But that isn't anything new here in Grayson County. Our News 12's Kylie Dedman learned what goes into a team like this and what makes up Grayson counties.
It's nice to be ready and, to see everyone else kind of catch up with Grayson County.
Grayson County's sexual assault response team was founded 5 years ago.
Those counties are really against the clock to get that framework built in a good way because the victims definitely deserve and need all the players to be ready.
Grayson County SART will add quarterly meetings to comply with the new law. The county commissioners appoint the members of the team, including chiefs of Denison and Sherman police departments, someone from the sheriff's and district attorney's offices, a Grayson Crisis Center representative, and a trained sexual assault nurse examiner, or SANE.
When they're done in Denison or Sherman or out in the county for the sheriff's office, those investigations should be done the same every time.
The new law doesn't change how the DA prosecutes rape or how law enforcement investigates it. Grayson County District Attorney Brett Smith says it simply gets everyone on the same page so they have a better shot at getting justice for the victim.
That the Grayson County Crisis Center and its team members have been doing it for 5 years, I think that's a credit to the professionalism of the Grayson County Crisis Center.
Things that need attention get attention, and this definitely showed the fact that it needed to be done.
This new bill didn't come with any new funding, so the Crisis Center will continue to rely on grants, fundraisers, and donations to fund the SART and other important programs. You can find more resources on this story on our website at KXII.com. Also, a man is dead after a rollover crash in Pushmataha County last night. Now, troopers say 38-year-old John Landry was driving on State Highway 3 in Rattan when he ran off the road for an unknown reason. His car struck an embankment and rolled nearly 2.5 times before he was ejected 67 feet. The cause of the collision, as well as the condition of that driver, is still under investigation, but troopers say he was not wearing a seatbelt. And the time now is 6:38. Meteorologist Brian Briggs joining us right now. And Brian, it's hard to believe that we're seeing places in Texoma dipping down into the 20s. So parents, if you're getting your kids ready for the bus stop, lots of layers this morning and hot coffee.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very chilly start to the day, so hopefully you can stay warm, at least initially. We will see lots of sunshine, so that's the one upshot to everything. But moon starting to set this morning on this chilly Friday morning here, and you see that moon out there. Hopefully you're able to catch the eclipse. Saw that coming into work this morning. The moon was all red. It's all over now, but yeah, very, very cool start to the morning. There's a couple clouds there on our Holiday and Ardmore Tower cam, brought to you by Hunter Supertex, but skies generally have been on the clear side. It's interesting how this is not really picking that up, but you can see some of those clouds on the horizon close to Ardmore. Skies, though, mostly on the clear side today. We may have a few clouds later on, but all in all, expect to see lots of sunshine. Winds also changing out of the southeast, so this is another indication that the cool spell that we saw this morning, well, it's almost over here. Temperatures are very, very cold for some. Colgate and Clayton, 23 degrees. That is a very, very hard freeze up there. We're seeing anywhere from the 20s to 30s, though, area-wide, and most of us are near or below freezing. Sherman Denison, though, 39 degrees. Yeah, we didn't get anywhere close this morning. 59 was a high yesterday, normal high 61, and we're expected to get very close to that as we go through the course of the day today. And here's what you can expect. So those temperatures recovering very quickly. We'll be back there. A couple clouds rolling in. That'll help keep us on the milder side as we go into this evening. Friday night football. things like that looking just fine. Now, Saturday also beautiful. Lots of sunshine, high in about lower 70s. And then we'll see another front coming in by the time we get to Sunday. Very similar fate. A lot of the showers staying east and south of our area. So nothing to really worry about with that one. But big time turkey trouble coming in towards the end of next week. Next system comes in as early as Wednesday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms becoming more numerous as we go into our Thanksgiving and even Black Friday. Not deceiving you either. You are seeing some wintry precipitation on the backside of the storm system. Models have been contemplating whether or not we'll get enough cold air. Very, very, very slim chance, not zero, very slim chance that that could be creeping into our neck of the woods. Details still very much up in the air though, so don't get excited if you get excited for winter weather yet. We'll keep you updated. The point to drive home at least this early is to plan for wet weather and impactful weather as we get on the backside of our Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Leading up to that though, we're going to have a nice weekend this weekend. Maybe you want to hit the lake. Be good. It'll just be a little bit breezy from time to time. And here's your fishing game forecast as well for tomorrow, so good luck. Here's also a look at your Friday night football forecast, so just grab the layers. But it's not going to be as chilly. We'll be generally seeing 40s tonight, so all in all, not too bad. And here's your 7-day forecast. Again, beautiful weekend on tap with that dry front moving through on Sunday, and then temperatures generally near slightly above average for this time of year before we see the next storm system into Thanksgiving. Download our KXII weather app, and we'll keep you updated on the latest as that storm system approaches Texoma.
All right, thank you, Brian. And before we head to break, here's your last look at today's gas price averages across our counties. The time now is 6:44 if you're just waking up with us. Happy Friday and good morning. That's a live look outside at our TMC tower cam. Don't let that sky fool you. It looks clear out there. It is actually really cold. In fact, it is freezing in some parts of Texoma. We're seeing temperatures dip all the way down into the 20s. So parents, if you're getting your kiddos ready for the bus stop, you definitely want to bundle them up this morning. And if you're headed out the door for work, you'll want to grab some hot chocolate, maybe some hot tea or hot coffee, because it is a cold one. Meteorologist Brian Briggs will give us our full forecast in just a few minutes. But first, the first retail shop in Katy Depot in Denison opened up yesterday. Ella J had their ribbon cutting ceremony Thursday afternoon. It's two sisters from Texoma. They opened up a shop that started out as a boutique and art shows to a booth in a shop, now to a full store. The shop is located in part of Denison renovation process.
We're just
so
elated.
excited.
We're so excited.
Yes.
And we're really excited to be part of the rejuvenation of downtown Denison. And we think Katy Depot is going to be a great place for us to grow. And we look forward to all the fun, exciting things happening down here as well.
Keister says what makes them stand out is that each outfit will carry 6 pieces per item so that their customers are unique in what they wear. Their clothing ranges in size from small to 3XL. And the Chickasaw Nation now has 2 movies on Netflix, Teado and Montford, the Chickasaw Rancher. News 12's Caroline Cluis spoke to the film's content producer about why it's so important for the Chickasaw Nation to make films like this.
Just in time for Native American Heritage Month, the Chickasaw Nation has 2 feature films on Netflix that you can watch today. Jeannie Barber with Chickasaw Nation Productions says she worked hard so that Chickasaw citizens would be able to recognize their culture in the newest film. She says normally they would have had a red carpet premiere for the movie, but COVID changed their plan. Instead, Montford, the Chickasaw Rancher, debuted on Netflix at the start of November.
So now it goes worldwide, and it's a family film, and we think people will really enjoy it.
The movie follows a Chickasaw man, Rancher Montford Johnson, as he builds a cattle empire in 19th century Oklahoma.
And he was a very determined man. He lived during a time in Indian territory and in a place that was very difficult.
Many of the film's cast members are Native, and over 200 Chickasaw citizens are in the movie as extras. Barber says it's important for films depicting Native American heritage to have Native American people on both sides of the screen.
We produce films that are from our perspective. So many times in the past, films have been produced about Native Americans by non-Indian production companies, you know, Hollywood, and they aren't always accurate.
Another film called Teada, about a Chickasaw storyteller and entertainer, is also now on Netflix. In Ada, Caroline Cluis, News 12.
from the Weather Authority, here's meteorologist Brian Briggs.
Well, good Friday, Texoma. Hopefully your day is off to a wonderful start, and hopefully you're staying warm out there. It's pretty chilly across the area this morning. A lot of us falling to near or below freezing. We have those clear skies out there. We also had that lunar eclipse this morning. Now it's just a full moon, and it's setting for the day. Things starting to come up now as the sun comes up. So our Holiday in Ardmore Tower Cam brought to you by Hunter Supertex. Things moving along great on I-35. It's just a little chilly. So we've had clear skies, calm winds, cool dry air in place, and that's why our temperatures were able to fall so far for some of us here. But we're starting to see the winds changing out of the southeast a little bit more, and they're becoming a little bit stronger. So the signal of our cool snap is starting to come to an end, but nonetheless, it is still very, very cold for some of us. Colgate, Clayton, you folks were able to drop to about 23. A lot of us in the 20s, so lower to middle 30s. Generally, most of us were near at or below freezing. Sherman-Denison was the exception. We really didn't fall that far last night. I think we got down to about 37. We're one of the warmer spots. Chilly for everybody, though. We will be seeing the sun through much of the day today. We'll be getting back into the 60s, so it will be on the cooler side today and pretty normal for this time of year. So here's what you can expect. And really, you may just want to ditch the extra layers this morning and hold on to a couple as we go through the afternoon. And it is going to be cool this evening, but it'll be a little bit more pleasant as we have at least a warmer air mass coming in ahead of our next front, which moves in about Sunday. Now, it looks to suffer the same fate as the first one did this week, keeping most of the rain to the south and east, but we're watching some turkey trouble by the time we get to the Thanksgiving time frame. Showers could be returning as early as Wednesday evening overnight, and our system really gets going into Thanksgiving Day. Lots of showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms as we head into our Black Friday. And your eyes are not deceiving you. That is winter precip on the backside of this system. So if there's enough cold air, possibly. There's a lot of details that we really need to work out here, and don't take this at face value, at least for yet. We'll keep you updated, but trends actually have been pointing this for the last week or so that there may be enough cold air. At the very least, it is going to be wet, going to be soggy, and it may impact travel plans. So that's what folks need to know heading into that time frame. Lake Texoma stats, it's going to be a good weekend to hit the lake. If you want to, some of those winds going to be on the gustier side, though, thanks to that front. But your fishing game forecast looking good for Saturday. So all in all, good luck if you're going to be heading out. Also, too, Friday night football. It's a big night for that. We'll be seeing temperatures generally in the 40s. So, yeah, folks not having to freeze it out. If it was last night was downright chilly, but a little bit more mild tonight. So here's what your weekend looks like. Some clouds from time to time, no rain chances with that front. And then we generally stay near seasonal, slightly above, leading up to Thanksgiving. Those shower chances are returning as early as Wednesday, and then really going up as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday. And we'll keep you updated on the details of that storm system.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brian. Well, every week we bring you a student athlete that not only excels on the field, but in the classroom as well. David Reed brings us this week's A-plus athlete.
A-plus athlete, sponsored by Texoma Chevy Dealers.
This week's A-plus athlete is Cameron Byler of Tioga High School. If the school offers it, chances are Cameron is a part of it. He's a key member of the Bulldog football team. He also plays basketball, baseball, golf, runs track and cross country. He's a member of the Bulldog band as well.
You know, he's involved in everything. So sometimes I couldn't list it, everything that he does. I just, you know, what all he's involved in and what all he's done, you know, and he continues to do it at a high level.
I remember one year our superintendent here, Dr. Holloway, he said, you only get high school once, so you only get to do all this stuff. Most people only get to do this stuff one time to make the most of it, and I really took that to heart, and I want to make the most of my high school career for sure.
In the classroom, Cameron is at the top of his class, has a 4.0 GPA, and has participated in UIL accounting, current events, social studies, headline writing, and more. He's a member of National Honor Society, Beta Club, and competes in national engineering competitions. He's in FCA and serves his church and community, and he does all of that with a big personality that keeps those around him on their toes.
I never know what he's going to say or do, but he's always a hard worker, and I brag about him sometimes being a goofball in class, but if I ever need anything at all, he is always willing to help.
It's something about saying something funny, making a joke, and seeing other people have joy from it. It just kind of has a spark down in me that just makes me feel like I'm making a big difference, and that's what I do it all for. It's important to get a degree. It's important to get something to your name and earn some, like, show that you're an honest worker. And just high grades is just a way to show that like, hey, I did that. I accomplished this thing that not everyone can do.
And that's why Cameron Byler is this week's A+ athlete.
And congratulations to you, Cameron. And here's a look at what's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Ahead and only on CBS Mornings, executives behind Puff Bar answered some tough questions about the popularity of their e-cigarettes among teenagers. Plus, entertainer and activist Common discusses his new music program for prison inmates. All that and more at 7.
This weather segment sponsored by Langford Roofing. Langford Roofing since 1937.
It's Snow on the Go time, and Santa is already in Sherman, and he's asking for just a little bit of help on getting toys this year. RPM staffing professionals and Santa are teaming up with the Sherman Chamber of Commerce and the Sherman Economic Development Corporation to host a toy drive. They're asking for new and unwrapped toys for kids over the age of 10. You can drop off toys at any of the companies partnering with RPM staffing professionals before December 8th. The main location is at 506 East Taylor Street. And Rutgers Barbecue will be holding a free Thanksgiving dinner giveaway this Saturday in Denison. That sounds really good. The meal giveaway will happen at 11 a.m. at 410 North Fannin Avenue across from Minnie Park. There will be turkeys, hams, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, green beans, desserts, and more. Wow, there could be more. All served until they run out. Thomas Rucker, the president of Rutgers Barbecue, says if you're sick or unable to make it to the food giveaway, you can call them by Friday and they will deliver a meal to you Saturday free of charge. And it's almost 7 o'clock and I'm okay with having barbecue right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Or ham.
Or, yeah, anything really.
Or dessert.
Like cake. We had cake yesterday.
We did have cake yesterday.
So at least, yeah, something warm like turkey ham would be great this morning. And we're going to be seeing warmer weather into the weekend after our freeze this morning. But we'll see lots of sunshine today, highs on the cooler side. Not going to be as cold tonight. Temperatures only falling into the 40s, so just a heads up for Friday night football, folks. And then we do stay dry, generally near seasonal, as we go into the weekend next week. But turkey trouble on the way. Our next storm system coming in, unfortunately, by the time we get to Thanksgiving, looks pretty wet, and it could be lingering into next week. Keep you details on that, as I know a lot of folks are going to be traveling during that time frame. But yeah, may want to have that turkey dinner inside this year.
And definitely want to download the Weather Authority app as well if you are going to be traveling for the holidays. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you for News 12 at noon. Have a great morning.